Let's go down to Jerome's. So technically, the Minnesota Vikings are 0-2, but actually they're the best 0-2 team in NFL history. Don't care because it's one thing if the Vikings just got their doors blown off against Tampa Bay week 1 at home, and then the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, which, I mean, it could have been a repeat of 38-7. It could have been a repeat of last year, week 2, Monday Night Football, 24-7. And, I mean, the Vikings, they could have let that game get away, except they didn't. And, there's no moral victories in football, but if you're telling me that this is one of the worst teams in the league, I mean, the Vikings, for another couple minutes, are technically on the clock for the number 1 overall pick. You're either stupid or a liar. Like, you honestly either had a preset agenda or you just didn't watch the games. Because I understand 0-2 is 0-2, and I know that the math is against the Vikings for making a run at things, but all these issues are correctable, and this team has a chance to get their ish together. They had a 10-day break between the Eagles and the Chargers game, and I think they certainly will do that. And again, I understand that Chargers is a must-win week 3. Then you're at Carolina on the road in the NFL, certainly not a gimme. You're hosting the Chiefs. You're at the Bears. Division games are always tough. Then you're hosting the Niners. You're at the Packers, and then you're at the Falcons. So this is a tough stretch for the Vikings coming up, but this is a tough-ass team. I firmly believe that. And after a couple days of reflection, I'm back in. Actually, I was never out. So there you go. But I understand. Also, here's what gets me about the Eagles game. So many fans thought that the Vikings were going to get their asses kicked by 50. But then when the Vikings had themselves a fighting chance in that game and then just let it slip at the end, they literally gave the ball and the game away. People are upset. I don't get it. Like the emotional roller coaster would have been better if they would have gotten beat by 50 like you expected in the first place. Probably not. But we got some reflections. We got some takeaways. These self-inflicted wounds can't continue because you hear the national media now. Talk about the last year, the Vikings 13-4, wanting some more 11-0 in single-score games in the regular season. There's like, regression to the mean, blah 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 blah. It's so weird. Like Al Michaels talk about calculus and all that stuff. Please. But guess what? Hey. 3 turnovers, -3 in the turnovers, that is also going to have a regression to the mean because regression to the mean works from both directions. And I think the Vikings, they understand what the problem is, and they're not going to be turfing it 3-4 times a game. Ain't going to be doing that. Also, I love idiots to be like, well, Kirk Cousins has lost 3 fumbles. Which ones are on him? The Ed Ingram one where Winfield came through on cleanly on a strip sack, or Josh Sweat coming completely unblocked on the blind side. Which one was exactly on Kirk? Oh, but he should hold on to the ball. Get out of here. So stupid. Only 1 turnover is really on Kirk this year. But the Vikings can hang with the best in the NFL. Where, yes, the Vikings should have beat the Buccaneers week 1. The Buccaneers defense still ain't no joke, man. In week 2, I mean, the Eagles... allegedly are the reigning defending NFC champs, and the Eagles still have Jalen Hurts. The Eagles still have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. The Eagles have Jalen Carter, who is the cat's ass, and Jalen Carter was largely held in check throughout most of the game. And yeah, they lost some free agents, and they had some injuries too, but they still have Darius Slay. They still have a bunch of luminaries from last year's team. And the Vikings did that on the road with the third-string left tackle, with their backup center. So, yes, the Vikings can hang and bang with the best in the NFL. And guess what? The Vikings beat themselves the first 2 games, 100%. It's on them, right? And would you rather have it if the Vikings were really unimpressive the first 2 weeks, but then luck box their way to wins? I mean, sure, black and white in the win column, yes. But in terms of the quality and caliber of the team, you'll take what the Vikings have showed the first 2 weeks, where it was just turnovers. It was just turnovers. And I could say stopping the run against the Eagles too, but part of that was the defense constantly being on the field because of said turnovers and getting worn down after they got ran on week 1 against the Bucs when the offense couldn't stay on the field. Yes, that does all factor in. The passing game is elite. Like Kirk Cousins is on pace for over 6,000 passing yards. Justin Jefferson is on pace for 2K. Addison showing he's the real deal. Hawkinson has proven that he's worth the money. This passing game, I mean, if it's not the best in the NFL, it's certainly up there. It definitely is. Run game, not so much. Part of that is on the offensive line. Part of that is on Madison. And yeah, Kevin O'Connell knows that they have to get their ish together because just throwing is not sustainable, especially when the offensive line depth is tenuous and defenses can just pin their ears back and get after it if they know that it's going to be pass. But running the ball, you can run some clock, rest that defense a little bit, makes play action more viable, and I do have confidence that Madison, Chandler, and this offensive line will get their ish together. Defense is opportunistic, has swagger. I love the direction that Flores has taken this defense. I love guys like Ivan Pace Jr., obviously has stepped up as the UDFA. I love that guys like Cam Beasley have really stepped up. Caleb Evans is looking really good in year 2. And I love that Daniil is playing at Defensive Player of the Year caliber right now. Now they got to get their ish together in the run game. I think that can be doable. I think that they do have to play a little bit heavier in terms of personnel. Flores does love him some sub-package everything, but getting Kairos Tonga on the field more, bringing in a guy like Linval Joseph, having Harrison Phillips play more of a 4 or 5 tech versus nose tackle. I think all of these things are fixable, and especially once they get a helping hand from the offense, where the offense actually sustains drives and doesn't get murdered in time of possession like they did in Philly. And these issues are fixable, right? And even though there's flux on the offensive line, hopefully Darisaul's ankle will be good to go after 10 days of rest. So you already got that shored up. We'll see what happens with Bradbury and his back. But I think overall, the offensive line, given the circumstances, with the injuries also being in Philly, I think they did really good. And I think Kevin O'Connell, frankly, called himself a good game. And Kirk and JJ in the offense obviously executed. And this team is super dangerous, where it's a passer and get the passer league. The Vikings can certainly get the passer, and the passer for the Vikings is looking really damn good right now. So that's the whole thing. Like, everyone is burying this team. Like, all ESPN, NFL Network, all the announcers just be like, ho, we told you that the Vikings were frauds. This is me mocking them, shoveling dirt on the Vikings' grave. But guess what? Like we said, 0-2 is 0-2. But this team is effing dangerous. They really are, man. And all these issues, it comes down to turnovers. JJ's fumble at the pylon led to a 10-point swing and a 6-point game. And also, if the Vikings and Madison and Powell didn't turf the football, and also if Udo, which hopefully heals up real quick from that quad injury, if he didn't give Josh Sweat that free rush at Kirk's backside, that's a completely different ball game. The Vikings go on the road, they shock the world, right? That's how razor thin things are, and that includes when the Eagles busted that game open at the start of the second half. This team did not quit, even though they took a punch in the face. They came back, they clawed back, and they were in at the end. But ultimately, self-inflicted wounds. Turnovers week 1 against Tampa Bay. Turnovers week 2 against the Eagles. All these things are fixable, and this team has the outline of a very, very dangerous football team. Like, no one is going to want the Vikes. And I fully understand that, hey, schedule's going to be tough. But come home, get things done against the Chargers, go on the road, get things done against Carolina. Everyone thought the Vikings were going to be 2-2 after the first month of the season anyway. What does it matter, the order that you get there? Chiefs coming in, shock the world. Go on the road, handle Justin Fields, just like Florida's defense handled Jalen Hurts to a degree on Thursday night, and then go from there. And then you got the Niners at home. Get after it, man. So I got high hopes for this team. And again, the fact that this team, it would be much different. Like, there's different degrees of 0-2. Like, this 0-2 is up here. 0-2 getting beat by 30 by Tampa Bay and by 40 by Philly would be down here, right? So we're all the way up here, man. We're all the way up, babe. So we're fired up after reflection, actually. But your thoughts are thoughts. Some random Viking Sunday reflections. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.